talking about the Vedic wisdom tradition. I've pointed out that it gives an alternative to the materialistic worldview, which is undoubtedly creating difficulties at the moment, to put it mildly. Now, what we need at the moment is a system of knowledge which tells us what is the cause of our present crisis, what would be a more ideal situation, and how we can get from where we are to where we want to be. These three things. What would be an ideal? What's the cause of the present crisis? What would be an ideal? And how we can get to a more ideal situation. To do that, we need knowledge that we can all agree on. It can't be any kind of religious or political or sectarian doctrine that appeals to one section of the population and doesn't appeal to another. It's got to be put forward in terms of universal principles. To get where we want to get, we need knowledge that's complete. We need knowledge that's certain. We need knowledge that's consistent. And we need knowledge that's relevant to present issues. These four things. It's got to be complete. It's got to be certain. It's got to be consistent. And it's got to be relevant. I'd like to point out now how the Vedic wisdom tradition gives us knowledge that does fit these criteria. First of all, it's complete because it includes both matter and the knower of matter, and also is the basis of matter and the basis of the knower. So it's, in principle, it's complete. It covers the whole field of knowledge. Now, second thing is, how do we get certain knowledge? Material science doesn't give us certain knowledge. Sir John Eccles said that you can't prove anything non-trivial that's non-trivial by physical. You can have theories which appear to be good so far, but you can't actually prove anything with any degree of certainty. But using the Vedic framework of knowledge, we can arrive at certain knowledge, practical certainty. Yes, we can't, for our mind and senses, we can't prove anything absolutely. But given that we accept that we're here, given that we accept that the world exists, given that we accept that we're in difficulties, given that we accept that we have to cooperate, within that context, yes, we can find practical certainty. So there's one very eminent saintly philosopher. He lived about 500 years ago. His name was Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami, he lived in India, and he provided a way of finding entities that you can be really certain that they really exist and they're really functioning. He called them tattva. Tattva means things which really exist. They're self-evident, they're true by experience, and they're so fundamental you can't put anything in its place. This is a kind of entity that he put forward. So what are they? Well, if you look at the chemical and physical elements, iron, oxygen, nitrogen, they're not really elements because you can divide them up. Even atoms can be divided up. But the Sankhya philosophy, it analyzes the nature of our experience, and it shows that the real things that we can really be certain of. For example, a scientist knows that he's experiencing. So perception is something, it's clear that we perceive. It's clear that we're thinking. It's clear that we're acting. These are self-evident truths. And these are actually, they're so fundamental within the scientific process that you can't replace them. Similarly, the self, the coordinating self, the conscious self, who's coordinating our faculties, coordinating our thoughts, coordinating our activities, our perceptions, and so on. This is also, it's true by experience. I know, I do, I think, I'm acting, I'm seeing. And it's also part of the scientific process, so you can never really substitute that coordinating self with anything simpler. So in this way, we can actually come to practical certainty.